So one thing I get a lot of questions about is my hair, because it is such a focal point of my Instagram and just me as a person in general. I get a lot of comments about it. Some of them, you know, are quite nice. Sometimes it's just random people on the street that are like, and that can be a bit weird. Just to let people know that you shouldn't grab people's hair that you don't know. That's a bit weird. Like, someone will be like, oh, your hair's so long, and then they'll just be like, and I'm like, please don't touch me, thank you, that's like appreciated. But I get a lot of questions about it, so I went on Instagram and I asked people what questions they had about my hair so that I could answer them in this video. So, does it get in the way a lot? Yes, it does get in the way a lot. I'm constantly tripping over myself if I bend down. I'm trying to stroke my dog and she will stand on my hair and I am just brought to the floor. And I got very trampled by the dog and it wasn't pleasant. I get caught on everything, door handles, just anything that I can possibly get caught on, I will get caught on, and it's not very pleasant. How long did it take you to grow it that long? Well, I guess the last time I properly had it cut was when I was about 10, 11. I had it sort of layered, I think, and I suddenly realised, hey, it's kind of curly and stuff. I also had it sort of dyed as well. I had ginger highlights because I always wanted to be ginger. Because I haven't had my hair cut since then, and they're still sort of there, but you can't really see them because they've just faded that much now. However, fun fact, I actually do have random ginger hairs in my head like my dad does, except his are like in his beard. Mine are just on my head. If you see in proper light and look closely, you can see there's a random ginger hair, which is probably why my hair looks lighter than my parents. So. Is it too difficult to sleep with that long, beautiful hair? It doesn't really bother me. I mean, I have terrible bedhead every morning. It's not very nice, and it takes ages to brush. But it's not like some massive ordeal to sleep in it. I mean, sometimes I will roll over and get stuck on it, and then I'm stuck in bed for a bit because I'm lying on my hair and I can't get up without, Does it tangle often? How do you deal with tangles and frizziness? Yes, it tangles all the time. It's very long. It boggles my mind how other people can get away with not brushing their hair, because I didn't even brush it that long ago and my fingers are stuck here. But yeah, this morning it was really painful. And I was trying to separate it and it hurt, and yeah. So I just brush my hair, that's how I deal with tangles. Pretty sure that's why I have so many split ends, but how do I deal with the frizziness? As you can see, I don't really, my hair isn't, this is quite, it's not that frizzy at the moment, but it's a bit frizzy. It was quite frizzy this morning, so I tried to like dampen it so that it would go back into ringlets, but it's still a bit frizzy. It's not that frizzy when I get out of the bath after washing my hair and it dries then it's usually like ringlets and stuff, but as soon as it dries and I brush it again, it just, it's poof, not pleasant. But yeah, I mainly deal with frizziness by just making it damp again, which sort of helps a bit. It was worse than this earlier. But. Do little kids think you're a Disney princess because your hair gives off that magical vibe? I don't really get that many comments by kids. I did have one kid that was like, whoa, look at her hair, and I was like, thanks. Because I had my hair in a plait, and I guess my plait was really long, but not really that many comments by kids. It's usually be like, like middle-aged women. When I wear wigs and stuff, like if I go cosplay in public, there's usually some kids that are like, oh my god, a fairy. It's like, no, I'm just an anime schoolgirl. Would you ever dye it? If so, what colours / style of dyeing? I have dyed it in the past when I was about 10, 11. Like I said, I had ginger highlights, but I haven't really wanted to dye it since. I mean, I've sort of thought about it. I thought, oh, what if I had pink hair? What if I had blue hair? I've always wanted blue hair, but I can just wear a wig because it's not permanent and it doesn't involve bleaching my hair or damaging it. Because one thing I noticed about the bits where the dye is, there's a lot more like split ends and breakage on there, on the bits that are lighter where the dye was. So I sort of don't want to have to do that with my whole head. That would just... I'm trying to keep my hair long. I don't want to have more damage on it. I haven't really straightened my hair or curled it or used any heat on it, so I don't want to sort of have damage by dyeing it, because I want to keep it healthy. How long did it take to grow that long? Like I said, last time I had it cut was when I was 11 properly. I've had a few trims every so often, but not very much because I'm stupid like that, and I probably should have it trimmed more often, but I haven't. So it was about here when I was 11, I think. So it's come quite a way. Maybe here, I'm not sure how long. How do you brush and wash it? I get a hairbrush. It's like a paddle brush. It's not probably a very good way of brushing it because it hurts, and I'm pretty sure I leave split ends everywhere. And I wash it in the bath. I can't deal with a shower, and we don't have one anyway. So I just shampoo it here and like here, and then I like fold my hair to get it on. When you have long hair, like, one thing that bothers me is when you go to a hairdresser's and they're like, oh, we're gonna wash your hair for you, and you're like, oh, nice, and then you end up with crippling neck pain, and then they've gone like this on your head, like with all your hair, and it's now gonna take about 2 hours to brush all the knots out, and that was not a pleasant experience, and it would have been saved if they'd just known that you just need to like fold it instead. But yeah, and then I condition it. It's usually best if I brush it before I wash it, because then it comes out in nice little curls. Otherwise, it's just a knotty mess. So how long did it take to grow that long, and did you get trims? I've had a couple of trims. Not that many, but a couple. And it's usually like that much off, just the split ends. I need to do it more regularly, but it's hard to get to a hairdresser at the moment, so. Because yeah, I'm really wispy at the end, and it's just not, it's not good. How do you make your hair look so beautiful and wavy? Well, thank you, and it kind of comes naturally like this, so I can't really give any advice on how I make it wavy because it's just genetics. My dad used to have like Bob Ross hair, and I sort of inherited that, except mine's just a lot longer, and it doesn't really look very curly at the moment. That's because I brushed it this morning when it was dry, and of course it and I tried to dampen it with some water, but it didn't really do that much, and it's still frizzy. It's still a bit damp at the moment actually, but I can't really help on how to make your hair wavy, because mine just comes like that. Though I would say don't use curling tongs because heat damage, and they just drop out really quickly. I would say if you're going to do it, get it wet like after you wash it and then plait it and then sleep in it, because that's probably the only way that you'll get it sort of wavy without hurting your hair. How do you keep it growing? My hair always stops after a certain point. I don't know, I just didn't cut it. That's just... I don't know if I think possibly it stopped growing, I don't know. I say that and then people are like, oh, your hair's so long, and I'm like, it is. It's been like this way for years now. So I'm not sure if it stopped growing. I don't really notice because it just gets in the way more and more. So I don't know if it stopped growing. My only advice is if you want to keep it growing, don't cut it, because that seems to be all the questions that I got. I didn't get that many, but it's, you know, enough. I'm sorry that my hair doesn't look too good in this video. I would have liked to have like properly washed it, but I don't have enough time to do it so that it's all nice and curly, but you can sort of just deal with this today. If you have any more questions about my hair, just like leave them in the comments or like ask them on Instagram or whatever, and I'll do my best to answer them. I don't really have any tips on how to grow your hair apart from don't cut it and be prepared to suffer. That's pretty much my 2 tips. Don't cut it and be prepared to suffer. And like, don't dye it all the time, because bleaching it and doing anything like that is going to lead to more breakage. And you know, I've known people that have repeatedly bleached their hair and dyed it, or just dyed it and their hair just falls out. It's not pleasant. So just, if you want to grow it, you got to accept your natural colour, or just do dip dye and then cut the end off. Or you could just be a little bit more reserved on how often you dye it and make sure you're conditioning properly and all that jazz, you know. But that's my advice. If you want long hair, don't cut it, don't dye it, and be prepared to suffer.